It's all falling into place, Cowboy fans. It is happening, and you can't deny it anymore. It's just a matter of time before Micah Parsons is truly that future Eagle. Dallas still stinks. Kick Dingbat here, and while everybody was watching WrestleMania and Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey last night, Howie Roseman and Philly 500 were calculating the calculations of the cornbread, and we came up with the formula that says no matter what, in the next year, this year, maybe next year, the Eagles will land a stud defensive player, a quarterback killer, somebody who is going to leave their team and come to Philly. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And unfortunately for Cowboy fans, it looks like it's future Eagles Micah Parsons. Now, before we get into it, there's a few things I want to talk about Eagles-wise. So we're going to do that right now. First thing, I know everybody watched WrestleMania last night. Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. I think that's awesome that they were part of it. It's very, very cool. I'm not showing any clips here because the last person I know that showed anything WrestleMania, they wind up getting copyrighted strike. I'm not taking any chances. But I think that it's very cool that they were part of it. I haven't watched wrestling since like the late 90s, early 2000s, back in the Attitude Era when it was good. You had that, you had ECW, back in the day. I wish wrestling would get back to that because I would watch it again. But the way it is currently right now, I just can't follow it. I just cannot follow it at all. At all, okay? Now, one of the things that I have been saying about the Haason Reddick trade is that it's baffling. That it's absolutely just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't get it. I feel like there's got to be another shoe that drops. Well, apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks it because Haason Reddick's father has came out and said that he's absolutely baffled. He's baffled by the Eagles trading Haason Reddick. Doesn't understand it. All Reddick wanted to do was get his fair market value. And I have to agree with him. It doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense to me is if another shoe drops. That's the only way I can understand. Now you're saying, why do you keep talking about this? Who cares? It's over with. And I get it. It is over with. But there's just something in my mind going, how do you trade your best playmaker and not get anything to help you this year? That's the thing that bothers me the most. And I got to tell you, I think there's another shoe to drop. What is that shoe? I don't know. I've speculated that maybe Howie Roseman looks at a guy like Josh Allen and tries to pull something off like that. But we don't really know. I mean, there's nothing out there saying that that's the case. That's purely me thinking outside the box. And yes, I've had some success with outside the box thinking. The A.J. Brown trade, the Saquon Barkley, who we're going to talk about in a second, coming to Philly. Those things happen, but it makes sense to at least pick up the phone and call Jacksonville. Here's how I see the Josh Allen thing, right? Here's how I see it. If for some reason Howie Roseman was able to pull off this trade and able to do it, we are not going to hear it coming. It's not going to be something that any of us knew was coming. It's going to be something that surprises us all, like the A.J. Brown trade. Okay, but when you look at Jacksonville and what they did, you got to read between the lines. What are the Jacksonville Jaguars saying by, first of all, not being able to get a contract with him done right by now? They couldn't do it by now. How's it taking this long? Especially after Brian Burns signed, should have been a lot easier. Secondly, think about this. They signed him to a non-exclusive. No, they signed him to a non-exclusive franchise tag. That means he has the ability to negotiate with other teams. Okay? You don't give a player a right to do that if you don't have the door open just a little bit, like a little Mark Holmes. Like a little Mark Holmes open for possibly moving him. What Jacksonville is saying is, is we want to keep Josh Allen. We would like to keep Josh Allen, but we are not going to shut the door that if somebody comes and blows us away with a trade or offers him money, that we'll let him go, that we're willing to move on. So what they're saying is they're open for the right price to trading him. That's what they're saying. Otherwise, they would have said this. They would have said, we're going to franchise tag Josh Allen to an exclusive franchise tag, meaning that nobody can talk to them or talk to Josh Allen but them. They're the only team that can negotiate with him. They didn't do that. They did a non-exclusive. And the fact that they did that, and then you take the things that he's tweeted and then deleted, things that he's liked, there's only one thing that you can take from it. That the Jaguars are open to trading him for the right price. And he's not happy with the way things have gone negotiation-wise, and he's not happy where that's at. So take that for what it is, okay? If you're Howie Roseman, it can't hurt you to pick up the phone. Not saying there's anything more to that out there other than this is how I think about things. I think there's something open. You should take a chance. And I think Howie Roseman thinks the same way. He takes a look at every situation. I think it would be a blockbuster move that would all of a sudden erase any questions I had about the Haason Reddick trade, because it would all make sense then. So we'll find out. We'll see. Josh Allen would be one of the better, and he is one of the better, stop texting me, he is one of the better pass rushers in the league. He's the perfect fit for the Eagles, no doubt about it. And speaking of perfect fits, Saquon Barkley is another perfect fit. He is going to come in this year, and he is going to have a monster year. I think he's going to have close to 2,000 all-purpose yards, and I can't wait for him to see. Hey, even Paris Campbell agrees with me that Saquon is going to have a monster year, and that he's one of the best running backs in the league. Saquon Barkley signing was a genius signing by Howie Roseman. It was the right thing, and we're all going to benefit for it, okay? That's just the way it is. Here's what Paris Campbell said about Saquon Barkley and coming to the Eagles. Trending, pound Eagles, not hashtag, but pound. Wide receiver Paris Campbell says that Saquon Barkley is the best running back in the NFL and that he'll prove it this season. I know, he said, quote, I know there's a bunch of debate between him and Christian McCaffrey. And don't get me wrong, Christian McCaffrey, by far, one of the best running backs in the league. But being able to see Saquon up close and personal, being in the same locker room, on the same team, man, he's a different guy. And when he's on the field, honestly, and running behind that offensive line that we have, I think he's going to be pretty scary for defenses. That's what Paris Campbell said, and he's right. Saquon Barkley has never played with an offensive line like we have, an offense like we have, and I expect Saquon Barkley to go out there and destroy it. He is going to have a monster year. You just wait and see. People are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe the Eagles actually landed him. What a smart move by the Birds. And I'll tell you this, okay? People ask me, well, Philly, what do you feel about getting an offensive lineman in the first round? I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm perfectly okay with it. If you want to get an offensive lineman in the first round, do it. I don't care if you want to go out and get Jackson Powers Johnson. You want to get C.J. Latham. You get J.C. Latham, I'm sorry. You want to go out and get any of those guys, I'm good with it. Because making your offensive line, making your strength even stronger is a good idea. And with Lane Johnson going to eventually go off and retire in another couple years, going out and getting a guy like a J.C. Latham from Alabama, 6'6", let him come in, play right guard for a few years, then kick outside the right tackle. I'm good with it. If you want to go get Jackson Powers Johnson, you want to put him in center and keep Cam Jurgens at right guard, I'm great with it. Keep your offensive line young, keep them good, and make sure that you're kicking, they're kicking ass for years to come. That left side of the line is going to be awesome. So if the Eagles choose to go offensive line, as long as it's the best player available, I'm totally good with it. I'm totally good with it. And I have no problem. So, yeah, I think that's probably where they're going to go in the draft, if I had to guess, offensive line. And I have no issue with it whatsoever, okay? Now, we know that Micah Parsons bleeds green. He loves the Phillies. He loves the Sixers. He loves them all. That's all he thinks about. Micah Parsons bleeds green, and he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle. And future Micah Parsons just took a gigantic step to making that happen. They are running him out of Dallas. This is what the Cowboys do. This is what they do. When they get players that are star players that are up for contracts, they begin to trash them. They begin to have stories come out about them to help their negotiations. They did it with Dez Bryant. They did it with Dak Prescott. They did it with Zeke Elliott. They did it with Mark Holmes. That's what they do. And they're doing it again with Parsons. I mean, it was just, what? I don't know, a few months ago where there were reports coming out that Parsons was a guy that was just playing for sacks and that the team felt that's all he was focusing on. Much like the reports came out about HAASON Reddick. They already came out about Micah Parsons. Now we're getting even more crap coming out about Parsons. This could be the kill shot. The kill shot has been launched. Rumors. There are reportedly some people within the Pound Cowboys, not hashtag, organization who feel that Micah Parsons' behavior has worn thin. Per 105.3 SS. I don't know what station that is, but I think that's the flagship station of the Dallas Cowboys, or it's some radio station. But anyways, quote, I've heard from way too many people that if Micah Parsons was out of there, there would be a decent amount of people inside the Ford Center at the Star in Frisco smiling or breathing a sigh of relief. They would breathe a sigh of relief to get rid of their best defensive player. They would review a sigh of relief. What a bunch of morons they got running in Dallas. Go ahead, run him out because he wants to come to Philly. You don't think he sees his buddy Saquon Barkley from Penn State in Philly? You don't think he sees everything the Eagles are doing? There's never been another player on another team to comment more on the Eagles and what the Eagles do in the offseason, during the season, and whatever. He constantly comments on them. He constantly thinks about them because he wants to be them. And the Dallas stupid Cowboys are pushing him right into the Eagles' hands. You morons! You are so stupid! You stink! So, yes, I have a great idea about Josh Allen and the Eagles should pursue him. If the Eagles don't get him, no big deal. They don't even have to pursue him because everything is lined up for Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons bleeds green, man. Micah Parsons wants to come to Philly, man. And there's nothing you Cowboy fans can do about it. Micah Parsons is a future Eagle. The only chance you have, the only way you have a chance of not having him an Eagle, you better hope the Eagles trade for Josh Allen, which is just a Philly 500 idea. It hasn't been anything in reality yet. Micah Parsons coming to Philly is reality. The Eagles see it. The Eagles know it. The Cowboys, they're running their players out. They're running their star players out of town. What the hell happened in Dallas? Too many sacrificed chickens. Too much satanic magic going on there. You have a 1-star rating with a satanic star on your helmet, and he sees it. He sees it. So it is just a matter of time. I promise you that Micah Parsons will be a Philadelphia Eagle, and he will be tearing the Dallas Cowboys up for years and years to come. Maybe another 2 years, something like that, and he'll be there. It's just a matter of time. Micah Parsons took a big step today, a big step to becoming an Eagle. So much so that Mark Holmes went to an autograph signing thing in Chantilly, Virginia, because he wanted to check in on Micah Parsons because he knows Parsons fed up. And you could see Parsons when he looked at the thing and it said free Micah Parsons, whatever. He was like, yes, I'm going to keep that shirt. Why? Because Micah Parsons wants to be an Eagle and he wants to be free of the Dallas Cowboys. It's a beautiful thing. Future Eagle Micah Parsons. Get ready for him. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision, baby. We're all just living in it.
Micah Parsons' dad, when he was at our tailgate at the Washington game, he loved the free Micah shirt. So I told him I'd get him one. So I'm going to give it to Micah and see if he'll get it to him for him. We'll see. Micah might not be getting a lot of support right now from the Cowboys, but I tell you what, the fans are definitely here for him.
Chris Carter takes me 360.
I know where that's going.
Sorry, Terrence. I gave the shirt for you. But your son said he's keeping it. Peace.
Dallas still stinks.